Good morning students. Welcome to Star Education. Today's topic is the Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau is nothing but a plateau which has three sides sea, okay, water, okay, three water bodies covered, and on the one part is covered with the land area. Okay, when you see on the west side of India, we have Arabian Sea, and when you take the east side, we have Bay of Bengal, and we have Indian Ocean in the south side. Okay, the three sides of our India is covered with the seas, and only one part, the northern part, is covered with the land area, that is your Himalayas. Okay, adjacent to it. And when you take this particular peninsular plateau, we have old crystalline, hard igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay, this peninsular plateau consists of old crystalline, hard igneous and metamorphic rocks. And we have metallic and non-metallic minerals. In the peninsular plateau, we find metallic and non-metallic minerals. Coming to the topography of the Indian peninsular plateau, the plateau is slightly tilted towards the east. Okay, when you see the topography, it is slightly tilted to the east. Okay, we have Western Ghats on the west side and Eastern Ghats in the east side. When you see that, it is slowly tilted. Why? Because I am saying here, all the rivers which are there in the south side, or the rivers which are flowing from the west side, they flow towards the east and they join into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, by that we can say that the topography of India, it is slightly tilted towards the east, because all the rivers which are flowing, okay, they flow and merge into the Bay of Bengal to the east. And coming to the southernmost tip of the plateau is Kanyakumari. Okay, southernmost tip of the plateau is Kanyakumari, and this peninsular plateau is divided into Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The peninsular plateau, as you know, that divided into two, central part and the other part is your Deccan Plateau. Okay, when you talk about the central plateau, okay, that is divided into two, Malwa Plateau and your Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay, Malwa Plateau is in the west side. When you see your India map here, see here, okay, this is the west side, the Narmada region, and you take the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east side. Okay, and these particular two plateaus, okay, those are dry area where you don't have a proper river flowing. Okay, and those rivers are not perennial, they are not perennial. Okay, and only with the help of the tube wells and groundwater level, they do the irrigation. Okay, when you take of the irrigation for the second crop is completely based on your tube wells and the underground water. I am talking about the plains of this Chota Nagpur and the Malwa Plateau. When you take your Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau, the areas are very dry because we don't have any perennial rivers over there. Okay, they only depend upon the rains and depend upon the tube wells and the underground water for the second crop. Okay, and when you're talking about the plateau lying to the south of Narmada is known as Deccan region. Okay, we have it in a triangular shape. Okay, triangular shape in the India map. Okay, that is called as your Deccan region. We will now study about the Deccan Plateau. Okay, the triangular plateau which is in India. Okay, when you take on the north, we have Satpura range. Okay, and continuous with the Western Ghats and ending with the Nilgiris. And coming to the east side, we have Kaimur range, Mahadev hills and Michael hills, and again with the Eastern Ghats. Okay, we have Eastern Ghats. Okay, when we study about the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats clearly, then we can have a complete picture about the Deccan Plateau. Okay, when you take your, as I already told you that, okay, the Western Ghats are slightly tilted towards your east, and when you talk about the features or the key points of the Western Ghats, okay, those are, first one, parallel to the west coast. Okay, we have a west coast river, it is parallel to its, Western Ghats are parallel to the west coast, and we have a continuous of 2000 meters, but we have a small break near Goa. Okay, completely continuous till 2000 meters from beginning till here end. but we have a small break in the Goa. And when we take it higher than the Eastern Ghats, when we say higher than Eastern Ghats, means I already told you that it is slightly tilted, means the Western Ghats are elevated than the Eastern Ghats. Okay, and it starts from the Guddaluru to Nilgiris, and we have different spots like Ooty and all where people spend their summer vacation. And we have the highest hills in the Western Ghats are Doda Beta 2637 meters, and Anaimudai Hills 2695 meters. Okay, highest peaks in Annamalai Hills. And when we come into the Eastern Ghats, okay, here Mahanandi, okay, and we have Nilgiris, and it is not continuous as we have a continuous of your Western Ghats, but we have not continuous of your Eastern Ghats because we have some rivers flowing in. It is not continuous. Okay, and rivers like Krishna and Godavari cut. Okay, they take a slit over there. That is why it is not continuous, and it rarely exceeds to 900 meters. So, what kind of hills we find here in the Eastern Ghats? We find Nalamalas, Velikondas, Palakondas, and Sheshasalam hills in the Eastern Ghats. In Tirupati, our religious place, we find it in the Sheshasalam hills. And complete of this Deccan plateau is of black soil. Okay, black soil. We find all the Deccan plateau. We find what kind of soil? Means black soil. It is originated because of volcanic condition. We find the black soil in the Deccan plateau. Our topic is Thar Desert today. Okay, the Thar Desert covers the western part of Indian subcontinent, and it covers 2 lakh square kilometers of the area, and it is leeward side of the Aravalli, and it is 100. When you take about the rainfall, it's only 100 to 150 mm in the per year. It is very least. Okay, the rainfall is very least compared to our regions. And here, when you take the climatical conditions, it is sandy and rocky outputs. Okay, we don't have not my own completely sandy and rocky output. And the only river which flows in your Thar Desert is River Luni. Okay, we find many lakes in the Thar Desert, but those disappear and they don't reach any sea or they don't reach any end. Okay, we find small lake, but it will not have any flow. Okay, and they don't have any end for it. Okay, and another important part here in Thar Desert is the Indira Gandhi Canal. It is 650 kilometers. Okay, the major key point in your Thar Desert is the Indira Gandhi Canal, and the people over there completely depend upon the river Luni and Indira Gandhi Canal for their cultivation. Talking about the coastal plains, as we know that western coast, okay, it is continuous. Okay, it starts from the run of Kutch to the Kanyakumari. And we talk about the eastern coast. Okay, we have Konkan coast near the Maharashtra and Goa, and Canara coast, the place of Karnataka, and Malabar coast in the Kerala. Okay, when we have the coastal plain, we have the states covering that coast area is covering those particular states. Konkan coast is covering the Maharashtra and Goa, and Canara plains of Karnataka, and Malabar in the Kerala. Okay, when you see that particular area is divided, and these particular areas, Bay of Bengal plains are wide and cover from Mahanandi and Kaveri delta, and the major rivers flowing in that particular the coastal plains river are Krishna, Godavari, and Kaveri. And when you come to the eastern part, the eastern coast, okay, Utkal coast in Odisha, and Sirkar coast in Andhra Pradesh, and Coromandel coast in Tamil Nadu. And the famous rivers which are flowing are Chilka river in Odisha, and Kolleru and Pulicat rivers in the Andhra Pradesh. And the major key point when we talk about here is, okay, we have a very good agriculturally well developed because of this particular rivers which we have. Okay, we have Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri. Okay, because of that the area is very fertile and agriculturally well developed. Last part of our physical division in the first chapter is the islands. Okay, we have two types of islands in our continent, that is your Andaman and Nicobar Island and the Lakshadweep. Now we first talk about the Andaman and Nicobar Island. They are the part of Bay of Bengal, okay, and these are elevated parts of Mount Arkham, Yoma and Myanmar. Okay, earlier we had, but now it is submerged, and these are of the volcanic origin. And when you talk about the southern tip of this Andaman Nicobar island is Indira Point. Earlier we had, now we don't find Indira Point because of because it is submerged. Earlier we had Indira Point, but now at present we don't have Indira Point. And why it got submerged? Means in 2004 we had a tsunami. Because of tsunami, that particular island is not, the Indira Point is not to be seen. When you talk about the islands in Andaman Nicobar is nearly we find 230, 240 to 270, and we cannot give the correct number. Why? Because some islands will appear and some island disappear. Okay, because of that weather condition and all. And coming to the second part of this island is your Lakshadweep. Okay, Lakshadweep are found in the Arabian Sea and there are coral region. And when you take the area is 32 square kilometers, and we find great variety of flora and fauna. Okay, and here when we take the whole the gist of it, we studied about the Himalayas, we studied about the coastal plain, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, the desert and the island, and many things we talk about the physical features in the first chapter. By that we can say that therefore there is a vast diversity in landforms in India. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe Star Education.